It's hard to imagine how thin that real gold is. It's unbelievable. I mean, you can see through it.
It's an ancient art form being adopted by a group of young Minnesotans, and a local church is taking full advantage of their talent. Gilding is the art of coating something with gold.
And it's been a favorite covering for precious objects and picture frames for thousands of years. In tonight's Extra, Alan Costantini found some young people who, you might say, are happy to work on the fringes of art. Their carpentry and gilding seldom draw much notice, and that's the way they want it. They are the Twin Cities master framers.
It is born under the whine of a power saw.
You want this thing built to last.
It may not be what you think of as art. It's not a sculpture or a tapestry or a painting. It's a frame. But what a frame! A tabernacle frame. An artwork conceived as a cradle for canvas and oil.
It's the marriage between the frame and the artwork that I really love about this job.
The architect of this 10 by 7 foot border is 25-year-old Eric Tollefson of Master Framers.
I need a hammer fast.
For 4 weeks, Eric leads a team of young Minnesota artists through an ancient process.
I'm making gesso, which is what we spray on the frames.
Kristen Baird is a finisher, but her co-workers all know her as the Gesso Queen.
I'm trying to get it to soak in here.
Her concoction of rabbit skin glue and calcium carbonate is called gesso.
I'm just mixing it, mixing in the oil and the alcohol.
It will prepare the basswood for painting and gilding.
See how much smoother it's getting? And get all those lumps out of there.
You want the light to bounce right off, and to do that you need it glass smooth. The gesso does that. It's a nice, and also it provides a hard enough base to do 22 karat gold leafing.
Sanding the dried gesso smooth takes hours.
I mean, the leafing is important, but if you don't have a proper base, you're going to see that right through the leaf. And this is the yellow ochre base that'll go on the frame first as a base coat. Now this is just red latex paint. We're just going to put it on the highlights.
Next comes a milky coat of sizing that quickly turns clear.
Now, the thinner you get it, the better shine you're going to have. But if you get it too thin, the leaf won't stick.
Finally, it's time for the frame's golden cover.
A sheet of that is about 1/5 of a cent. A sheet of real gold is about $1.
It takes hundreds of feathery sheets of copper and tin foil to gild the Gulliver-sized frame.
What she's doing, she's walking it into the pattern. Because if she were just to lay down, it would just break.
As Kristen rubs, loose leaf falls away like excess dough from the edge of a pie crust.
And that's where you get your solid gold look.
In another part of the workshop, Eric prepares to use real gold, 10 times thinner, 500 times more expensive, to gild 4 medallion ornaments for the corners of the frame. His tools are as traditional as his art.
This is what's used to pick up the leaf. It's a single row of squirrel hair. A little oil from my skin on this brush, and that will help it come off of the sheet here. And the alcohol is added to the water to reduce surface tension.
The gold leaf leaps to the moistened medallion like iron to a magnet.
That is water gilding. It's a lost art, really. There's only maybe a few hundred in the country that can gild really well. If there was a painting here, you wouldn't be seeing the painting at all. So we tone it down just a little bit.
The golden coat is a visual trumpet, but the customers want the soft notes of a cello, so the master framers take their shiny new creation and make it look old.
You're trying to simulate history, you know, and it went from place to place, and something happened to it along the way, and you have to make it look like that.
On January 7th,
keep the torque right on.
The great frame begins its one and only genuine journey out of its birthplace, across the Twin Cities, to St. John's Lutheran Church in Mound. Artist Stephen Gjertson of Minneapolis watches anxiously as they marry his painting to the frame for the first time. A giant hanging cleat is screwed to the back of the frame. The 4 ornaments are glued to the corners, and it's time to set frame and painting in place. But no harm done.
That should be high enough, right? No, there we are. We're there.
After a year of painting, a month of framing, it's done.
Well, I think it looks wonderful. And I warmed up the sail and warmed up the figures in the boat so that they would harmonize with the gold of the frame.
I don't want people to just look at the frame. That's not the point of the frame. It's to see the thing as a whole piece. The frame complements the painting and vice versa. They work with each other.
Alan Costantini, Kare 11 News, Mound.
The painting is titled Peace Be Still. It depicts Jesus calming a storm. The official dedication of the painting and frame at St. John's Lutheran Church in Mound will be this Sunday following each of the 3 services.
It's beautiful, wasn't it? Yeah.
So relaxed after that
I know,
story.
that was a very interesting story.
Yeah, it's one of those things you always wonder about.
Well, I'd never wondered about it.
Your life is not as boring as mine, Paul.
Once they started, I was very interested in it.
That's about my life. Okay.
I guess I'd never thought about it seriously, about how they did that. It's always
amazing.
I know that,
and the patience.
I know the simple way of doing that. I don't know the painstaking way of doing that.
Incredible. We are ready for this cold outbreak. We've been talking about it since Monday, and it's here.